Hello sports fans, this is Ollie here at Visordown.com with a slightly different video to what you normally enjoy here on our YouTube channel, because today we're talking elbows out, full throttle, adrenaline-filled motorcycle racing, more specifically MotoGP. For those that visit Visordown.com, a record number at the moment, just thought I'd say, you'll know it's not always about the motorcycles you can buy. No, we are really passionate about motorcycle racing too, with dedicated race weekend coverage of MotoGP, World Superbikes and British Superbikes, plus plenty of content when things get controversial, handbags are drawn and the big moves are made. As a result, we've gone checkered flag in the wake of Fabio Quartararo's tremendous crowning moment as the 2021 MotoGP World Champion, by looking right on through into 2022, when the points are reset to zero, the hype is very real, and we prepare for another action-packed season of creamy, full-fat racing. So to kick things off, we're going to have a look at exactly how the expanded 12-team, 24-rider grid looks next season, where some familiar faces will be in new places, others will have honour to defend, a few will have something to prove, and of course, and try not to cry now, Valentino Rossi will not be on the grid. Not as a rider anyway. Look, we consider ourselves to be in the know when it comes to motorsport, but we definitely wouldn't have predicted Fabio Quartararo would be crowned a 2021 MotoGP World Champion when he made his debut as a relative unknown in 2019. Fortunately for our credibility, it seems very few people actually did predict him, and if they say they did, then they're probably lying. Either way, having had to slide his way into the mighty large shoes of Valentino Rossi at the Yamaha factory in 2021, Quartararo now heads into 2022 with an even bigger task ahead of him to defend his well-deserved title, which he achieved on the strength of his skill outperforming an M1 that hasn't exactly shone in other hands, his experience of handling pressure and the talent of being consistent. He just has to do it all over again now. Alongside him will be Franco Morbidelli, who showed in 2 years alongside Quartararo at Petronas SRT that he is as quick, sometimes even quicker, than the Frenchman. Much, however, will depend on whether he can shake the niggles of his serious knee injury, which put him out for a long time and has continued to hamper him on his return to action. While it's hard to consider Marc Marquez a dark horse per se, the six-time MotoGP World Champion is the big question mark that would linger as the 2022 season gets underway. Having spent 2020 out with injury and his return in 2021 was fraught with classic high-profile crashes and clashes, Marquez's 3 wins to date this season suggest a rider and team getting back to their ominous best. Moreover, Honda is bringing a very different-looking bike to the party in 2022, which, based on the form of recent years, could be crushingly dominant, or it could be an expensive headache. Though he hasn't sparkled in his first season with Repsol Honda, Paulo Espargaro has proven a match enough for Marquez to earn himself a deserved second campaign in 2022. What a happy mistake 2021 has ended up being for the Ducati factory team. Having been rather brazen in its attempts to poach several high-profile riders for 2021, including ones whose form have dipped quite a lot since, such as Alex Rins and Maverick Vinales, it was almost forced to settle on Jack Miller and especially to still developing Pecco Bagnaia for this season. And yet, both have shown what putting faith in your protégés can achieve, with 4 wins between them and in Bagnaia's case, a convincing run at a title challenge. Both riders stay for 2022 and both still have some progress to make, especially in the case of Miller, who should have perhaps had measure of Bagnaia to grab hold of the team leader mantle, but has committed too many race day errors to command such a status. This will be one of the inter-team battles to watch next year. The shock MotoGP World Champions of 2020, Suzuki has enjoyed a rather sobering title defence this year, with its consistency and durability proving pivotal over the short season of 2020. Suzuki's strengths haven't been quite as evident this year, and yet the limitations of the GSX-RR, such as its single-lap performance and modest power figures, have too often resulted in Joan Mir and Alex Rins pushing the limit and too often overstepping it. Mir still has as many MotoGP wins as MotoGP titles to his name, but has coped with the pressure-filled season on a less competitive bike rather well when you consider this is only his 3rd season in the top flight. He will again be joined by Rins next season, who will need a big upturn in grandstand results to retain his place after a 2021 campaign riddled with sloppy race day errors. The surprise package of 2020, it has been rather difficult to gauge whether KTM has enjoyed a strong 2021 campaign. It has added 2 more winners' trophies to its cabinet, and there was a point in the year when Miguel Oliveira could have mounted a title challenge. Then he crashed in Austria, hurt his shoulder and shattered his confidence. It will be the measure of the talented Portuguese rider if he is to enjoy the long winter working towards the future rather than dwelling on the past. But if he does a Quartararo and shake off the demons, he could be a threat in 2022. As could Brad Binder, South African not quite stabilising the consistency part of his form, but showing some exceptional race day pace from lowly grid positions on numerous occasions. If he can start qualifying further up the grid, then he could be a wildcard bet for the title in 2022. Aprilia breaks away from Gresini Racing to take its MotoGP team in-house at Nuale from 2022, in so doing officially morphing from a quasi-factory team to a proper one. After several false promises and dawns, Aprilia finally took a notable step forward in 2021 under the trusted steer of Aleix Espargaro, form that effectively allowed it to win the signature of ex-Yamaha man Maverick Viñales, who has already made his debut with the team. Often the quickest rider once winter testing has concluded, Viñales' experience and sensitivity could be the key in Aprilia getting both of its bikes amongst the front runners next season. After almost 2 decades and 24 podium-winning near misses, Pramac Racing finally became a race-winning MotoGP team in 2021, courtesy of Jorge Martin's stunning turn in the Styrian MotoGP. It has been a fantastic year all round for the Ducati satellite team, which has at times run rings around even the factory lineup, with its riders Martin and Johann Zarco. While Zarco's wait for a win continues and his form has dropped off in recent races, the Frenchman still rides up inside the top 5 as his career, which looked down and out come the end of 2019, continues its reascent. As such, there will be no change to the rider lineup for 2022. This hasn't just been a season to forget for LCR Honda, it has pretty much become the forgotten team of MotoGP altogether. Despite both riders being upgraded to the spec 2021 Honda machine, TAKAAKI Nakagami and Alex Marquez have been barely a footnote in this year's campaign, with only a handful of top 10 finishes, plus some costly crashes. A disappointment for both, given they showed some impressive flashes of form in 2020. Both riders stay on board for 2022, but are probably the pair most under pressure to hit the ground running from round 1, or face being frozen out once the contract negotiations get underway. After a breakthrough double race winning campaign in 2020, Tectoir KTM have returned to earth with a bump and a hail of gravel stones in 2021. With the KTM RC16 proving a bit patchy in terms of performance this year, Tectoir has suffered more than the factory team. With the popular but seemingly disillusioned Danilo Petrucci and the improving but error-prone Iker Lecuona failing to impress this year, KTM and Tectoir go bold for 2022, with an all-new rider lineup forged by its excellent rider development program. The dominant force in Moto2 this year, with 11 wins from the 16 races between them as of writing, Remy Gardner and Raul Fernandez will be rewarded with a seat each at Tectoir in MotoGP. At the very least, both will court plenty of attention next season. Aussie racer Gardner will follow in the wheel tracks of his 1987 500 GP World Championship winning father, Wayne Gardner, but it is Fernandez who many will be keeping an eye on. Having fended off a big approach from Yamaha to poach him, Fernandez will make his MotoGP debut in only his 4th season of GP competition. The last rider to enjoy such a rapid ascent was Joan Mir, and he turned out to be a bit alright, didn't he? A new look and a new name for Yamaha's satellite effort, as out goes Petronas Sepang Racing Team and in comes RNF Racing. Don't be fooled though, this is the same Malaysian flagged effort that took MotoGP by storm in 2019, though the loss of big backers Petronas means it will be operating on a more modest scale for 2022. The change isn't a quiet one though, with RNF writing plenty of headlines in recent weeks, with a rider lineup that couldn't be more opposing on the experience scale. One of MotoGP's most trusted steers, Andrea Dovizioso, will make his full-time MotoGP return in 2022, after spending much of 2021 on the sidelines after his spat turned all-out war with Ducati. The move marks a return to Yamaha machinery for Dovizioso, who spent an easily forgotten but very impressive single year with Tectoir Racing in 2012 between the Honda and Ducati stints, finishing 4th in the standings. On the other side of the garage will be Darryn Binder, the younger brother of KTM man Brad, a rider who makes the unprecedented leap to MotoGP all the way from Moto3. With only a single win from 7 seasons, yes, 7 seasons, of racing in Moto3, we'll give Razlan Razali and Johan Stigefeld the benefit of the doubt on this one, because the last eyebrow-raising signing was one Fabio Quartararo, so we'll see if lightning does indeed strike twice. The only team that, as of writing, hasn't officially confirmed its riders for the 2022 season, let's just say we're confident enough to bet our life savings on predicting this one correctly. Not that we have much in the way of life savings anyway. Indeed, after Valentino Rossi officially scotched rumours he would race for the team that bears his name when he confirmed his retirement, it's almost certain 2 of his VR46 Academy protégés will race instead. First up is Rossi's brother Luca Marini, who despite a modest first season in MotoGP with Avintia Racing, will head up the high-profile new team, which will run Ducati machinery and with sponsorship from Saudi oil giants Aramco. That is, if they make good on their multi-million euro deal that was touted some months ago. Alongside him will almost certainly be Marco Bezzecchi, a race winner in Moto2 and the most promising of the VR46 Academy racers not currently competing in MotoGP. Gresini Racing makes a welcome and poignant return to MotoGP in its own right, after 6 seasons as the day-to-day running team of Aprilia's factory-backed effort. Reverting back to a full independent entity with Ducati-supplied machinery, alas, Gresini will do it without its eponymous founder Fausto Gresini, who died shortly after confirming the team's 2022 entry due to complications from the COVID-19 virus. Nonetheless, with his widow Nadia Padovani taking over as owner, Gresini heads into 2022 with at least one very exciting weapon in its armoury in the form of ENEA Bastianini. The 2020 Moto2 World Champion has been a revelation in recent rounds, scoring 2 podiums from lowly grid slots aboard the unfancied 2-year-old Avintia Ducati GP19. With a skilled ability to maximise his bike's tyre life, Bastianini's presence is likely to see Ducati become more receptive to offering top-notch resources. Completing the all-Italian rider lineup will be rookie Fabio Di Giannantonio, a protégé of Fausto Gresini himself, and one of 4 riders, together with Binder, Fernandez and Gardner, all set to make their MotoGP bow in 2022. So that's how they line up for 2022. Yes, Valentino Rossi won't be there. Yes, he will be missed. No, it won't stop us brimming with fevered excitement once the new season rolls around. Why do we have to have an off-season, eh? Hey-ho. Until then, though, ciao for now.